like this. Okay. Welcome everybody to Village Poet Readings for October 2021. My name is Maja Trochimczyk. I'm a program chair of Village Poets, and I welcome a wonderful feature, Frank Iosue, who is from Arizona, and he has an amazing feature called the Arcane Reveries, and we'll listen to his poetry and look at his image later on. We're starting the reading from an open mic, and we have Rick McGrath, who will be the first reader. Welcome, Rick.
Thank you very much. All right, I'd like to read one that I wrote this morning. I've been on somewhat of a more of a personalized journey with my faith. So I'm going to read from there, and I'm also a photographer with shooting a lot of photography in Yosemite. So that's been my inspiration. The title of my poem is "Whom Shall I Fear?" Contemplating, sitting at the river's edge, I look deep into reflective waters. And though I walk through the valley of chaos, whom shall I fear? For the Lord is my foundation. He alone is my rock. He leads me to calm waters, restoring my soul for his pleasure, bringing peace into my mind. Surely goodness and his mercy will fill me until I die. And when that day comes, I will dwell in my Lord's house for eternity. And that concludes my poem.
All right, Rick, thank you.
Very much. Thank you very much. Okay, we have another poet. Raise your hand if you'd like to read. Oh, Casabella. Okay, so let's go to Casabella Wilson and listen to her poems, probably with some music, right? Casabella, you're going to have Rick with the flute. Very good. Let's listen to what Casabella.
Rick will play Shakuhachi while I read, and I'll just tell you that this was written very recently and inspired when someone asked for a short prose, poetic prose that was, the title would be one word that starts with R. And this gave me the chance to make this happen. I feel very grateful to her for asking for this, because I've written about this. This is something that happened very recently. I've written about it, but not like this. And just look around here. You see all the paintings on the walls. You'll see what I'm talking about. You can introduce.
This is a shakuhachi, Japanese traditional flute. It's a goma bamboo, which is speckled, not your usual yellow flame. Anything else?
A little
now,
musical
yeah.
introduction. Rob. His closest friends called him that. Rob. His life was stolen suddenly, as if a large bird swooped down and took it, like a sandwich or a fish. It was an elegant bird that was his downfall, though. His passion. Carrying heavy equipment, a camera with a large lens each day to watch their mating dance by the river, their nest, their babies. They're in love, he told me, and so is he. After months, each day, he felt more and more tired. Falling asleep early before he could compile. Finally, one night he fell in his studio. Next morning, they found him and sent him for care. He called me and I said, "What happened?" "I think those herons tired you out." "Yes," he said. A week later, he was gone. His paintings and photos, 100 herons line our walls. I still expect him at any moment. His cheerful return, his friendly, slow gait, and stories. Back to our home gallery with new work. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Casabella, for this memorial to Rob Stewart, a wonderful painter. And it reminded me that I wrote a couple poems to his paintings and photographs of herons wading in a marsh. So before we move on to the to the feature, I thought I'd read a memorial poem and this poem from my book, which I recently revised and expanded, called The Rainy Bread, More Poems from Exile, which is based on memories on my extended family and other people, civilians mostly, but some fighters also, guerrilla fighters in World War II, mostly fighting against the Soviets. So the poem Bird Watching in a Saltwater Marsh, it's inspired by Rob Stewart's painting and it's in the book. The heron is marching from left to right. The heron is marching. The reeds and wild grasses willfully obscure its path. The heron is marching, marching, determined, assured of itself, wide-necked, black-headed, classy, with long strides, wide wings, determined. The heron is marching, marching, marching. The water is cobalt, lead, steel, molten metal. The water is heavy and dark. The heron is marching, 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 determined to leave the darkness behind. So that was just, it felt the mood of this poem was very appropriate to my book, which I expanded by adding poems, not about the war, but kind of like commentary to the war. And let me now switch to my introduction. I go to share screen and we'll look at Frank's biography. There's a tarot card, there's a picture, and there's a different picture of Frank we can see on the screen. And he is a poet, member of Arizona State Poetry Society and the Tucson Poetry Society. And he was a judge for National Federation of State Poetry Society annual contest, over 150 submissions, and for the Poetry Society of Texas Award. He has a BA in English from Cal State Los Angeles, MFA Creative Writing and Poetry from University of Iowa Writers Workshop. He is an author of 11 chapbooks of poetry and a volume of collected poems, the Au Revoir of an Enormous Ass, published in 2017. He has conducted many writing workshops and has been featured reread at venues around Southern California and elsewhere, Southern Arizona and in other places. So there's a lot of information about him on the blog. You can also look at some sample poems, which I added my own photographs from Arizona because my son lived for a while in Tucson, so I've been there quite a few times. touring the most amazing restaurants you have out there in Tucson, as good as LA or better. And now we have our feature who came to us digitally through the internet. So I'll now switch my sharing. Let's just stop sharing us.
Rick, could you please mute the microphone, your microphone, Rick?
Do you want me to mute that?
Yeah,
Yes, thank
everybody
you.
has to mute except for me too. I'll mute in a minute. After I will go now to share screen. Where is this again? Oh, I've lost it. Share screen. I'll go to the video. Where's my video? I lost my video.
I'll just say for the meantime, I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I'm looking forward to sharing this work with you. We thought the video was going to do the work for me, but now I got to read it all, which I don't like. I don't mind talking. Well, my brother knows that. My brother's here. My brother Nick. I'm glad he's here. Dear friends Kim and Rick and my brother Tim Ramos, a really dear friend of mine, family from California, and Carla, who you can't see her face, but she has been attending our Tucson Poetry Society meeting. So Carla, thank you for being here too.
All right, so here we are.
Thank you. I'm enjoying
I found the screen. I found the screen on a larger screen, and then let me just see one more thing. Sorry about just fiddling with the controls. That's it. Let me just do this, and then.
Yeah, we were having trouble with the audio. You can't.
Yeah. We can't have the audio on this. So now we are in the video, and I'm just start play. So here we have but the screen is kind of odd with this insert. Do you see the same thing as I see, which is the screen of faces in a square kind of thing? 6, 10.
Yeah, it looks full. It's full of the screen.
It's full. Okay. So the screen is full. Okay, so let's start. And the Arcane Reveries. Poetic sketches and meditations, the Major Arcana of the Tarot. So here we are. And we see the list of poems here. And now I'm going to turn off my sound so we can hear from Frank.
Okay, yeah, these are the 22 cards of the Major Arcana and a blank card, poem on the blank card. They're poetic sketches and meditations on my own interpretation of some of the meaning and some of the meaning already embedded in the cards themselves. So I dedicated it to the memory of my wife, Mary Susan. First card is the Fool. Card 0, the Fool. I am what arrives out of every emptiness, innocent and unprepared, the configuration of a new potentiality. If I open my eyes, I will be what the world is. The sky is a brilliant bowl of light. I glow inside my garments. The dog is anxious at my feet. I am the seed of all that I will be, the beginning of all becoming, blank and beautiful. I start by falling. I will walk off the edge into the air of everything and die as I descend. Card number 1, the Magician. The roses ache in the red canopy overhead. Imagination moves through me, easy as air. The emblems of the earth are at my disposal. Transformation is the ultimate illusion. It is movement that is the maker. Infinity is my artifice. The moment is our meeting place. As above, so below. I entrance without applause. I am performer and my own utmost audience. The world I make is a memory in disguise, and it begins when it takes the shape of my desire. Card number 2, the High Priestess. I am daughter of all firmaments, the other in every opposite and each multiplicity, enthroned between these two pillars where every contrary is accommodated. Duality is my equilibrium. The secrets I keep are here for any seer. Incense is the ether in which I breathe. The moon is a room where I recline. I am the receptacle readied so that the about to be can become. The link to the not you long to know. I am not the object of your desire. I am the implement of an endless elsewhere, a path waiting for your feet. Card number 3, the Empress. The river of every desire flows here at my feet. Your heart bursting open is my apple. I fulfill the seed and am your field, the residence of all fruition. In me, the world is multiplied. My heart is perpetually husbanded. All is generative in my wet embrace. I will do your bidding when it is akin to my own. To win my affection, look up to the stars in the sky of my face and sing. Touch, and your flesh will sink into me like a sea. Card number 4, the Emperor. My stasis is the equilibrium before generation. The initiatory energies emanate from me. In my loins is the song of every animus, but I rule from the waist up. Love has transformed the beast of me into the stone on which every kingdom rests. My affections are each an element. My voice is large, the one out of many noises. I am the almost immovable object, the opposite of eternity, the irrefutable authority of now, where essence is wedded to accident, blessed by and bound to my ally, the earth. Card number 5, the Hierophant. I am the ambassador to infinity. The law is given that it may be made meet in me. The Lord is my shepherd, and you are his sheep. The flesh is made weak so that it can be made willing. I sing Hosanna for every soul that longs for what exceeds the skin. My harvest is the dispensation of every sin. My intellect, the ossuary of the orthodox. In me, spirit makes meaning that everyone may understand. I am the mirror men look into after they have risen up, penitent and incantatory, into the ceremony of light, out of the excrement of their disorder. Card number 6, the Lovers. Desire is the purest paralysis. He looks to her for his longing. She is always filled with what he needs. She dreams skyward, ready to embrace their benediction. There is nothing here to hide, nothing to do but to need willingly. They know a heart breaks in the air if not for a body. Form is the sister of the senses. No bed burns hot enough to consume what feeds this fire. Each is eaten in the flame of their inadequacy. She knows all, but needs him to be lessened into loveliness. When he is with her, he is like light that loses itself, illuminating the substance of a sea. They are incomplete until in their affliction, they extinguish one another. Touch her heart, and her flesh will flower. Grant him trespass, and he will brighten as he bleeds. Card number 7, the Chariot. The soul is no city to bring the senses to. I am poised, the brute of myself is abated. This vehicle is where I preside. The sphinxes stride at my discretion. I am unaltered by the hysteria of any incident. My serenity is austere and elegant. I have constrained myself. Emotions are obstructive and too consequential. My heart is a fist of ice at ease in my chest. The uninitiated may not enter here and ride. There is only room for one at a time. If you can hold these reins, I will be your absent passenger. I am the each that exceeds the ocean of the many, the only that is the master of the much. Card number 8, Strength. I begin where every fear ceases. There is no mouth I can neither close nor open. This ferocity is the servant of every gentleness. Below becomes the brother of above. Garlanded and engirded by the fierce and fiery rose, I am bound to you in the brilliance of this synergy. The creature fed on passion is the kitten of my wise wilderness. There is neither pain nor pleasure in me, oh, my tender enemy. My touch is the new mother of your next becoming. Both of us will be beautiful when you submit. Card number 9, the Hermit. I do not need to open my eyes to see the light. This solemn star is for you, wanderer. I am at the edge of every element. Darkness is the friend of all form and matter. Without it, there can be no light. As you look up from below, you will not see me. Only the illumination I proffer from this promontory. This brilliance feeds me my humility. I serve by my insignificance. This light is the now of every knowing. This lamp will be there when you arrive. I am forgotten long before I could ever be known. The dreamer who dies before the end of every memory, the wise and sentient cipher gladly discarded here in the empty air. I am the footprint in the snow, unseen, but always there, onto which more snow is always falling. Card number 10, the Wheel of Fortune. You continue, though you stop on your climb or your descent. Every point on the circle sings of your fulfillment. The deception is in the movement. What you are is only the instant in you made manifest. Every sorrow, every joy is a place of consolation. Every consolation, the only victory. You will not rest as you ride, but every point is the only ease you can ever know. This fate is your only referent, the fruit you feed on until you are through. The elements are your chroniclers. They see and do not sympathize. The stop is only a place to resume the slide. The moment will reacquaint you with this name of this ride. The line to board is forever forming, here and now. You carry the ticket in the pocket of your heart, and you are always next. Card number 11, Justice. The counterweight disrupts the paralysis of neutrality, and aspects break into otherness as they rise and fall. Qualities and relationships insist that things be either right or wrong. I am the intellect of situations, the arbiter of all dichotomy. My mind is clear, my thought is fierce. Outside all inertia, I am severe. My sword is the metronome of every side of things. I decide who are the friends of every truth, though every truth abides in its exactitudes and uncreates the uneasy equilibrium. I have fallen from this high place before, bruised but unbroken. Do not look away from me for long. Beware when I return silently to my seat. Card number 12, the Hanged Man. My identity is the quality in the quality of my surrender, martyred to the ethers in which I have existed. I am suspended in the geometries that have shaped me. My spirit sings in this inverted serenity made cruciform. Gravity is the gift where I will next be transformed. My mind and spirit radiate from all my fixity. My head is filled with beauty, and I am nourished by this freely falling blood. My essence is intensified in my detention. I look upward to the mothering, fathering firmament, or sideways to the singular horizon, or down at my fixed and final soil, and I am gratified. Without moving, everywhere is my direction. Card number 13, Death. I am not the end of everything. merely the terminus of everything meant for you. We are all friends here upon this earth into which you have fallen. My touch is restorative to all you no longer are. I am the looking glass of your every loss. Take in my black breath, and you will know the real air of all you've been. From the flesh you have worn as your armament, you will be delivered to the backward bed of which you have always dreamed. Look beyond the abyss of my eyes into the bone and caverned clarity of my mind, and bathe in the beauty of your nothingness. I am the taste in your mouth when every kiss is ending, the silence that unmakes the sound of all you are. Prepare to enter the kingdom of my kindness. When I arrive, it is best to bid me welcome and offer me your heart like a cake on a platter. Card number 14, Temperance. The world made manifest is aglow again. Spirit feeds what the body will contain. The bright angel blends the elixir in the cup and links the many minds. There are distances to preconceive and paths yet to travel. Find your respite here where earth meets water and essence is bodied by matter. Spirit is steeped in the sensory. Serenity is where you are tenanted. Your landlord is the light. Forget what you have made of every memory. Find new transit in this fluidity. Passing from matter into mind and back, your will is the gift in every artifice. But this terrain, far from the tyrannies that urge you on to your incessant otherness, is now your dream, now your delight. Card number 15, the Devil. You are my deities. I am made in your image, the tail that wags you, O wicked little dogs. I endure the tedium of antiquity to incubate each delirium. My throne is the seat of all sensation. I am the dark seed in the field of yourself. Flesh is your only friend, I say. Find its secrets before it's flayed from you. So short your time with all your instruments. Let me teach you all a body's really for. What good is a God that won't gift you the way to go? How hot must blood run in you to turn the beast you are back to the earth? Let me show you the worth of being unwise. Cleave to me that I may unmake you to the brilliance of your own brutality. Look across at one another and remember why it is you yearn. You are confined here of your own accord. There is no need to choose, but you may. You are free to go. But why not stay? Card number 16, the Tower. The sun has struck out at us from beyond the blackness. Our hearts have hidden in the attic of this artifice, the false phallus erected for our undoing. Accumulation had crowned us with such bounty, with such knowledge. At the moment of our most eloquence, we are struck dumb by the song from a darker tongue. The fierce firmament reels above us as we descend. Gravity welcomes us with its grim guffaw. A scream is the only anthem for this eviction, the only wisdom found in every falling. We can begin to know the world again, rise up out of the debris on the floor of this new agony, but only after we break at the bottom. Card number 17, the star. These are the points from which into you light penetrates. Each substance returns to its source, spirit and matter, water and earth. I shine upon every beauty made flesh, upon the equipoise of all that is incarnate. All is at peace in the moment of most remembering. I shine in the not night air, a light too far to affront the sun. Listen to my wordlessness. On the edge of the serenity, the ibis of thought squats quietly in the tree I have made of your mind. Card number 18, the moon. I live in this reflected light. I am the intercessor of your illumination. I give you all the light I can receive. I am the coin that shines in the night, by which the work of your deepest self is transacted. My isolate luminescence is ancient and transformative. The hearts and blood of beasts, tamed and untamed, howl to the pulse of my passages through the many nights. The tides withdraw as I exhale. The mysteries I keep are revealed in the masks of my many phases. I am love's celestial punctuation, communion wafer of the cosmos, passive alpha and omega of the sun. Every path passes beneath me, beyond the outposts, beyond the dead end of every edifice. In the dark, as you step from the water, as you navigate the soil of your significance, I will lick the landscape clean with my light. As you dream, you will know the worlds I have witnessed from my many atmospheres. All you know is all you have imagined, though in me you need not be awake to imagine, and need not sleep to dream. Card number 19, the sun. I am the force in every action, the song in every energy. I am unto myself, beyond all element, while I burn. The thing you are was forged in the brilliant furnace of my heart. My child upon the stallion has nothing left to hide. He rides heroic in my light. His each desire refined in the purity of my fire. The world is the output of all I am, awesome and irresistible. I will give you all I am from a distance. If you dare to get too near to me, you will become one more infinitesimal bit of my hot, incomprehensible mind, one more speck of insignificant space through which I spend my inexhaustible stuff. Card number 20, Judgment. Awaken. The beings you have been are now beyond belief. The trumpet calls you out to be twice born into all you truly are. The last resurrection, the glory of your unremembering, afloat upon this sea of spirit that pounds against the shore of all abstraction. The forms assemble to embrace the end of incarnation, the full unclothing at the finality of flesh, the moment of absolute disrobing. This attainment is your ultimatum and your epitaph. Arise from your boxes and prepare to return to your beginning. You have passed through every aspect of your qualities, have sung and suffered. You are freed of the substance that bound you to the love of your illusions. Arise from the bed of your bodies into the noise of the last arrival. Card number 21, the world. I have returned to the assimilation of ultimates. I am the both and the neither. I am again the all, the hermaphrodite engirded by the wreath of all revelation. I exist outside the confines of any element, the miracle made flesh and flesh unmade in a final form. The crucible of matter superseded by the metanatomy of spirit, the completion of all conditionals, the conciliation in which every illusory occurrence is reconfigured. Mine is the stillness at the source of every immanence. I am the vessel of the pure volition. This is the ever extant, finally formed freedom of an own invention. To be or not be, to never become, to never have been. The blank card. It is the locus of all that can and cannot be known, the absence that astounds the senses. It is every secret that is kept from you, the pool of unseen light from which the fool emerges, into which every world is sundered, the veil from which will emanate the eloquence of every joy, through which will pass the song of every sorrow, the open mouth where language is given form, the waiting room of all the archetypes. It knows nothing, it senses nothing, yet all you know and fear and love lives here, where first and last reside with always. It is affluence and emptiness, the ecstasy and the ignorance that confounds and entices you, O endless soul, so earthbound and itinerant, as you engage your life's sublime unease and the opulent iota of existence. Notes on the Arcane Reveries. The language of the Chariot is a language of symbol and metaphysics. The origins of the Chariot are uncertain and steeped in mystery. Rooted in ancient Egyptian mystical and religious traditions and linked to the Kabbalistic lore of the ancient Hebrews, it was spread throughout the world, the Middle East and Europe by nomadic people like the Gypsies, and nourished by Gnostic cults and other mystical societies. It survived the Crusades and the Inquisition. The earliest date attributed to tarot cards seen in European museums is 1390, though the actual origin of the cards goes back hundreds of years earlier. Updated versions combining the influences of numerology, astrology, color symbolism, the Hebrew alphabet, Egyptian mythology, and elements of medieval European courtly and secular life have produced the unique and evocative amalgam of images that form the modern tarot deck. The modern tarot deck consists of 22 cards constituting the major arcana and the 56 cards constituting the minor arcana. Also included in most decks is a blank card. All are used in readings and for meditation. The minor arcana consists of 14 cards, similar to our deck of playing cards, obvious secular variants of the tarot, in 4 suits: the cups, the wands, the swords, and the pentacles. There are 10 numbered cards, ace through 10, and 4 court cards: the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. The minor arcana represents a contextual or situational symbolism that is more specific and objective. The major arcana, which provides the body of images and poetic genesis for this book, expresses a purer, more fundamental and archetypal symbolism with more expansive and subjective qualities. The striking combination of elements in the visual field, the sequencing and numerological significance of the cards, the autonomous symbolic authority of each identity, together they reveal an esoteric paradigm that is the scaffolding for a community of primal associations. Whether you believe, want to believe, or totally disbelieve in the mystical and metaphysical qualities of the tarot, it is an undeniably rich encyclopedia of icon and mythic imagery. In this book, I sought an idiom of metaphor, intuition, and abstraction that would unfold to create poetic sketches suggested by the cards. I allowed my own philosophical, cultural, and aesthetic sensibilities to orchestrate the creative process. By no means do I claim to evoke any ultimate or optimal accuracy or truth about what the cards mean or should articulate. It seems to me that it is the very nature of symbol to resist ideological or linguistic confinement. But I would also suggest that the poems are not what one might describe as uninformed. I have also included a poem about the blank card. While the card is not considered a component of either the major or minor arcana, it is used in readings. It represents an element, quality, or situation which is being hidden from both the reader and the querent, or the person whose cards are being read. For me, the existence and use of the card and its lack of any visual symbolic reference prompt an elegant and primal poetic response more akin to the major arcana than to the minor arcana or to the neither group. So I was compelled to include it with the others in this volume. The images in the book are reproduced from the original and authorized edition of the 78-card tarot deck designed by Pamela Coleman Smith under the direction of Arthur Edward Waite for his book, The Pictorial Key to the Tarot, published in 1910. It is only one set of many that have appeared throughout the long history of the tarot. This deck, however, has become the standard for most of the English-speaking world. First published by William Ryder and Son Limited, it is called the Ryder Deck. I need to acknowledge A Complete Guide to the Tarot by Eden Gray for providing a great deal of insight into the history of the tarot, the symbology of the cards, and suggested interpretations. Next page just gives a little bio of
Yeah,
myself,
yeah.
talks about my book, and then
that's
we are
it.
at the end.
Yes, we are. I'm just trying to unmute and remove the screen. All right.
Thank you.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you very
If we
much.
move to gallery, so you can unmute. Anybody has any comments or questions? I had a lot of comments and questions that were answered in the notes, actually. So I will wait until the other people present on this reading maybe have any comments to the book. I was struck by the kind of hypnotic quality. I wasn't thinking about the meanings when I was listening with the music and images, but just let the voice carrying me through the various landscapes, you know, kind of cosmic landscapes almost of light and death and multitude of possibilities that we have on the different choices and things that happen in the past and things that are in the present. And I myself had had some tarot card readings for me. And one notable reading, which I will mention here, it was where I was coming out of really serious trouble and darkness. So in the reading, death was behind me, a lady of pentacles was in front of me, my present, and that lady was, somebody said, Casabella Wilson, you're my lady of pentacles, the lady of earthly riches and talent, who helped me find the path towards the future. And I will not tell you what my future card was because it's mine and not yours. So let's listen to some other comments if anybody has to our featured reader, and then we'll continue with the reading. Conrad wants to unmute. Let's unmute Conrad. There you go. I can hear you.
I thoroughly enjoyed the reading. It was just like Maya said, that it had a rhythmic quality. It might be how you're reading it, but I was looking, I zoomed in on the, hello? Yeah, I zoomed in on the images. So I followed you reading. I followed along. So I was able to get it on two channels, not just on the auditory channel, but also on the visual channel. I was able to read the text as you were reading it. And I don't think it is just your voice. It is the imagery called up by the words. It is absolutely hermetic, which I absolutely appreciated. And there is definitely occult imagery in there, which is of course appropriate for tarot cards. And it was absolutely fantastic. What I want to know is, because I tuned in late, I'm in the car, as you can tell. I tuned in late, and what I want to know is whether you have those. How are those printed? Those poems with the cards and the images in the back.
You mean right there in the video itself? What I use, it was like a 3-step process. I was trying to figure out when I had the idea for the video. My nephew, I have a couple of YouTube channels, okay? So I was starting to get to learn how to use a site called Canva. It's a free cloud site you guys can use for making presentations of all kinds and doing all kinds of wonderful creative stuff. And it's basically free to the public. But you can also pay a fee and upgrade it to get more features and stuff. But I was making, I went to the Canva site originally to make thumbnails to introduce my videos for YouTube. So I used the template of the thumbnail for the YouTube channel template and the video screen, because it fits nicely into the screen size. And then you have to import, you can use text. They have some text available that you can take from their menu, and you can import it as the same thing with the artwork and graphics. You can either upload your own graphics and import them into the template, or you can use their standard ones, or you can bring them from some other site. And so once you get them uploaded, you move them into the template, and you can make them any size you want, big, small.
No, I understand. What I'm hoping is that you print these out on a color process and frame them, because they are yeah, that's what I'm hoping that you do.
Oh, well,
and that you put them, that when you publish them, I'm assuming you're going to publish them, or you've already
book. They're in the book, The Revoir of Enormous Us. This is my collected poems. It's 500 pages long, available at Amazon or Barnes & Noble. The poems are all in here. And it's illustrated with tarot cards and everything. So it's in here already.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'll look you up on Amazon as soon as I can. All right.
Thank you, Conrad.
Frank, I had a question.
Joe DeCenzo.
Yeah, what is your connection to the deck, Frank? Are you a reader, or how did you become inspired to address each of the images?
Well, I'll tell you, I started getting interested in metaphysics back in the 70s. My primary discipline really is numerology. I'm a numerologist, which basically is the metaphysical language of the numbers of people's names and their birthdays, and also the numbers that appear elsewhere around us, the experiential and spiritual qualities invested in each of the fundamental numbers, and that they give us insight into our destiny, into our resume from past lives, and our code of what we need to experience in this life. So that led me to exploring other metaphysical disciplines, and I was always fascinated by tarot cards, and so I got myself a deck back in the late 70s and started reading about them and doing it, and never really thought about writing the poems about them until I started writing again. I kind of turned my back on writing after I graduated from the University of Iowa. I kind of just finished what I was doing there, and I kind of was sick of school and academia, and I decided to go in other directions. So I stopped writing for a long time, and then my wife died in 1999, and I started returning to poetry again as my way out of, like, Maya's comment about the darkness I was in. So I had this prolific period from about 2000 to about 2007, where the bulk of this book was written, about 75 to 80%. And one section was this: I had always thought about these tarot cards, doing these sketches on them. So there was a period of about a month or two in 2003 where I started this project where every night I would take a card and jot down thoughts. And I do a lot of revising. I'm a big believer in revision. In fact, I teach workshops on poetry revision because I think that's critical to any creative enterprise by any individual. I'm a big advocate of that. I'll do 6, 7, 8 drafts of a poem until I'm happy with it. Sometimes it happens earlier, but each night I would work on one poem, set it aside, come back to it until I was happy with it, work on the next one. And just to show you, this is my original chapbook that I produced on desktop publishing. I made my own book in 2003 using desktop, okay? So I used to sell these at readings for like $5, right? And then I also recorded myself reading the poems on a recording thing and would sell these at readings too. So it had the same cover, and then it had the table of contents. And so I used this audio for the video that I made. And so those were separate things until I just integrated everything for the project a couple of months ago, between using the Canva to create the panels of each poem, typing in every page, each poem on one panel, and then animating it so it moved, and then downloading it, and then assembling it with a voice under, and then linking all the panels together and make one long continuous video. So it took about 40 hours to do the whole project. But yeah, this came to me a long time ago, and I do read tarot cards. I have 3 or 4 decks, and I'm a big student of the subject, and I try reading for others once in a while, but I don't do it professionally. But I did do numerological readings for a long time to make money when I was unemployed. I used to do readings at a party, and just do, guests would be at a party, they'd hire me for like $50 an hour, and I'd go around the room reading everybody's numbers, their birthday, their name, telling them a little bit about themselves, about their destinies and all that. So that's always been a part of me, but the tarot has always been a personal thing of great inspiration and beauty and meaning for me. And I had this idea, and I'm very proud of the book. It came out beautiful, and I think the video I'm very, very, very happy with, and I'm glad of your response. I thank you for your responses, everybody. Thank you, very kind.
Well, Maya, am I on?
Yep.
Yeah, I just bought your book, so I'll be reading it. Yeah, I just did just a second
I don't
ago.
have your name. What's your name?
My name is Conrad Tadamar.
Conrad. Thank you for my heart, buddy.
So I'll email you if your email is available in our database. I'll email you my comments after I get it and after I look at it. I was impressed by what you wrote. and it absolutely it convinced me. So this is it. You know, I love tarot cards too. I have multiple tarot card sets. And you know, I'm sure you've noticed this, that some people are disturbed by tarot cards.
Yeah.
You know, I had somebody over at my house and they saw tarot cards and they never talked to me again. You know, so it is it's an acquired taste, and the fact that you were able to turn it into poetry is quite remarkable. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Conrad, and thank you for the
Yeah.
purchase. I can hardly wait to get my
No,
$2
you're quite welcome.
All right, very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. So now,
Maya, I'm gonna have to go. I've got 3%
okay,
on
bye
my
bye.
phone.
Thank you, Conrad. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Don't
to meet you
drive
too.
and talk. Drive safely. So anyway, so this is really nice. But I thought, since you mentioned numerology, before I let the other poets read, I want to read another poem which I also put in this book. Wrote it this summer. The 23rd of July is the day of clearing karma, untying knots on the thread of fate, breaking enchantments, reversing curses. Look at the moon, blood red and broken, above the hilltop, huge like ancient pain passed on through generations. It follows you as you drive home after resting in the silver mist of the ocean, its waves, turquoise and jade, always moving, yet always the same. Look, the moon hides behind a black ridge of despair. Only a soft spot remains, shimmering on alien indigo sky. The road turns. You fly along, 80 miles per hour, singing a Chopin's nocturne. Its beautiful cascade of notes split apart by a sudden apparition, a majestic white platinum orb suspended in darkness. You remember that rust-red, once-in-a-lifetime moon of prophecy, the fox moon that foretold disaster as it led you back from Paso Robles, Solvang, Santa Rosa, on the way into disillusionment and regret. It was hard to understand, harder to believe in the existence of such twisted, demonic selfishness masquerading as affection. Pitiful, yet the healing was real. The lessons learned, the karmas cleared, it is done. The moon now floats high above the valley, in its bright halo, distant and indifferent. You've discovered the virtue of detachment. You've seen how desires of the heart led you astray. Your light, an illumination, like a moonbeam glowing on cobalt waters of the Pacific, your path ahead is straight, clear, dazzling, brilliant. A star child, born to shine, you are blessed by the moon's radiance on this magical summer evening of July 23rd. You found your way home. The new age has begun. So I thought that would be a good poem to follow your
Lovely.
tarot. Thank you. And now I would like to have more poets to read. Joe, do you like to read now? Joe DiCenzo?
Sure. Yes. Well, I've got one new poem, then I can read a Halloween blessing at some time if it's appropriate after that. But I was thinking October happens to be my favorite month, not just because of baseball playoffs, but because of the mysticism of Halloween that pervades. And when you're thinking about things that scare you, it's beyond the skeletons hanging on the doorways or the visions of bats flying across a full moon. Sometimes there are the things that scare us from within. And this is titled A Handful of Dirt. Beneath the supple scalp, in the crevice of the mind, is a hell where demons can't compete. Beyond the wail of screeching cats and ponds of glowing yellow eyes is a torment that ensues once the head lays down to sleep. She lives between the water of pain and the fire of love. Any food to pass her lips, seasoned only by salt tears. The shutters bang the house, and not a wisp of breeze. Mysteriously the curtains flutter behind the hush of windows closed. Her planet shakes from winds of fear, a world turned on end, balanced on a molten edge, a field of knives awaits the fall. Her solitude and she lay on a bed of sullen sheets. Dreams may be the only light to ease the darkness of the heart. Naked through the abyss, she swims and dreams of waking on garden shores. Surfacing for air, she's anchored to her companion in the harbor of new life. Rejoicing on the beach, they play in the sands of zealousness, constructing every dream forged in youth. Their pails filled with every craving, every hunger, every thirst, hope, and lust, then piled high atop of one another until their lives blot out the sun. Around their castle in the sand, they danced in joyous restraint, and that carved an impenetrable moat and shielded them from attack. But death waits when sun sets and tides rise. She walks through a forest, but finds no wood to build a ladder to climb from the abyss. Only lifeless bodies hanging from the branches. The threads of her pillowcase unravel to form a face mask through which she must kiss and embrace and wait in lines to get a chance to say goodbye behind plexiglass. Dragged away from her castle, she grabbed a handful of dirt, murmured as she threw it in a hole, you promised you would bury me. Thank you.
Nice.
And I have a Halloween blessing if you want.
Halloween blessing. Okay, let's switch to Halloween from memorial poems. We had memorial poems. Now let's have a Halloween theme. And then we need another poet to raise a hand to follow you.
Great. Halloween blessing. May the warm blood seep and the spiders creep and your path be crossed by stray black cats. May the zombies growl and the werewolves howl when the moon is blurred by swarming bats. May your neck be shaved by the reaper's blade when the evil witches cast their spell, and your ghastly fright be of pure delight when the goblins pull you down to hell. When the coffins shut on your rotting gut, may the maggots feast upon your spleen, and from grace I fall as I bid you all a simply horrid Halloween.
Very good, Joe. Very good. Okay, so who's the next poet would like to read? Let me see. Go back to the gallery view. Raise your hand on the screen or raise your hand. Oh, James Coates raised his hand on the computer. So after James, we'll have Pat, because I saw Pat raising her head. James, I'm asking you to unmute. Oh, there you are.
Hey,
Good to see you.
good to see everyone. So I do have a poem that I went to a workshop and they asked me to write some horror. So it was a attempt at writing a horror poem. It is titled Never Trust a Big Butt and a Smile That Girl Is. A nightmare made manifest, demoness in the flesh sent straight from hell to make my life torture. If pain had a name, then there her picture frame would hang, a warning to any who dare make a bond with this devil spawn. Her soul tie will suck the life from your eyes, wrap a noose around your neck and hang your body out to dry. See how I built my own coffin and lined it with silk sheets. Wrapped in lust and a mummy slave, she entombed me in her grave. She fed me mercury from her lips. I sucked monoxide smoke from her breath, licked ricin from her skin, then the paralysis kicked in. As I watched my life start to fall apart, piece by piece, what did I do to deserve such a horrid sentence? failed to see the toxic steam streaming through her veins, failed to exercise the host of ghosts living in her bones, but mostly because I left. Knowing staying meant death, but not just of the flesh, of the spirit and mind too. Revenge is a bitter kind of stew. She decided killing me was not enough. I had to suffer for what I did. Rejected her lifetime bid, sought peace some other place, found joy in another space. Now all she lives for is the hate of me that pumps out the abyss inside her darkness called a chest, her heart a withered carcass, the deadly epitome of loveless. That girl is poison. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. And that reminds me that the Buddhists teach people to renounce desire, right? If you renounce desire, you don't suffer. And I couldn't figure out forever until it became my grandmother with little children. And desire just left me for anything because I just live in the present when I play and build blocks. So it's a very, very good poem for Halloween with a real witch in it.
Yeah.
And evil enchantment. That's indeed the truth. Okay, so let's go now where we have Pat. You were raising your hand. I'm asking you to unmute. So please unmute and read a poem. Let me just go to speaker. Where is Pat?
I will do that. I didn't pay too much attention to the time of year that it is, and so I have nothing Halloweeny.
That's okay.
Even frightening. Well, it might be frightening. I don't know that for sure. So I'm going to read just one thing. This is an American sonnet in the style of Terrence Hayes. So it's 14 lines, 10 syllables each, and internal rhymes as much as possible. My American sonnet. When I consider the bitter, the sweet, the people, the places, the faces faced, I know the way was in ways too easy, the fits and the starts, parts best forgotten. Why did I never, ever, forever choose what I wanted? Anoint myself master of me, queen questing with passion, purpose known, valued, valiant, instead of allowing the flow, flexing no power, feeling no courage emerge. Looking for peace at all costs, content with the judgments of those who would love me, shove me aside. Life flowing by a trickle to torrent. And so I sigh. Why could I never say no? That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have another one? You could do two.
I do have another one. Also not horrible, not horror
It
filled.
doesn't have to be horror filled.
I was just trying to go with the flow here. But
Yeah, to me, a sonnet is horror filled. I could never, ever, ever write a sonnet. I'm terrified of them. So there you go.
I did have some about death, but they're not on this thing. So photos. You looked happy that July day, bicycle decorated with red, white, and blue crepe paper. Third in line, sister number 3. You looked happy that June afternoon in powder blue and your first heels, wobbling into your teenage years. You looked happy that January morning in white charmeuse, smiling at the woman in mink, walking down the aisle to meet the man in red socks. You looked happy that August day in your gray dotted Swiss shirtwaist dress, clutching, cooing to the life given to you to mother. You looked happy that day in your t-shirt, skinny jeans, as you got out of the U-Haul, unhitched the Mercury Bobcat to settle down. The innocence of childhood made you look happy that July day. The promise of the future made you look happy that June afternoon. The vision of a perfect family made you look happy that January morning. Shedding the past, living the present, releasing the future, you no longer look happy. You are happy. That's that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, let me have a look at the gallery and see who else would like to raise a hand to read. We had Dorothy has left the feed.
Timmy, you want to read? My friend Tim, he's just starting to be a writer, and he's been
Okay,
writing
so
some-
let's ask him to unmute
There.
Timothy Ramos, because Marlene is here, but I don't know, she didn't say. Dorothy disappeared from her chair.
Well, let Marlene go first then. Yeah, Tim could
But
be.
Marlene, I don't see. Marlene, are you there? Can you read?
I am. Can you hear me? I
Yes,
unmuted.
very good. We can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, I have a poem that is not like my usual, and it came from deep in a stack. And it's I'm a little bit embarrassed. It's a memoir, though. When my arms were long, my body hairy, when I ate berries and tore into raw flesh, I did not need many things. I needed tubers and leaves and fresh stream water. I needed cave darkness and a spear for rabbit and fish. Death was for eating, not for grieving over. I delighted in lightning fire in a tree stump and bubbling of clay and steam fuming from deep earth waters. I lived, gave birth, and died. I knew terror and joy, hunger and filling. I did not need a god. During later ages, born over again, I began to look at others of my kind. I took from them. I learned to slash and club and to get my way. I began to feel evil spirits in the center of my terror. My sleep was troubled by the sound of voices in the waterfalls. On summer mornings, surrounded by birdsong and beauty, I wondered at my world. I looked at my outer parts, wondered about the inside. I wished to touch a companion I sensed beside me. That was long ago. Now my skin is nearly hairless. I am not often hungry, but when I am, I eat meat baked in an oven and berries boiled in sugar. I cradle them in soft white bread baked by strangers. I hunt 2 blocks away at Ralph's, where I use paper dollars and a handful of coin as my weapons. I sleep lightly and hear the sound of chains on the stairs. I cling to the one true God who will share my fears. I fear death and know it is coming for me. I think I know eternity. I tease my guardian angel. This, my children, is who I am and who I have been. Think well of me. I have done my best. I still travel the long, long road. That is it.
Thank you, Marlene. Very nice. Reincarnation personified. All right, we have, okay. Now we have Timothy Ramos. Timothy, Tim, I'm asking you to unmute if you have a poem. Frank was asking for you.
Yes, I am here.
All right.
Okay, do you have a poem for us?
No, I don't. I'm just enjoying
Okay,
listening and learning, and I'm just a
very
bystander
nice.
today.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to Dorothy. Dorothy Scales will be the last reader, I think, and then we'll just announce the next reading and it will be it. So Dorothy, this is your time. Oh, you're not unmuted yet. Yeah, I asked to unmute, so you need to click unmute on your bottom of the screen on the far left. There's a mic image.
There.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go. Yes.
This is my October poem. Crows in the twilight. Westward, so the crows go, at the hint of fading light, in the pale blue sky before dusk falls. Twilight turns golden amber trees into shadows in the moonlight. They dance against rooftops and windows on cool, windy autumn nights. Where do the crows go? Gliding into an empty evening sky, freedom vibrating their wings, making them fly, fly, by and by.
Thank you very much. That was nice. Thank you. Thank you. Is everybody read who's here and you done with the readings? Or is anybody has another poem to read? You still have a bit of time if you want. If not, it was very rich and full of meaning and poetry reading. So I'm very satisfied with this feast of poetry on a cold Sunday afternoon. Cold is relative, actually. Me, it's cold. It's 70 or 75. If I lived in Chicago, it'd be hot, and I would have to drive around in a convertible with a top off, as I heard from Chicago recently. They were laughing at me because I was sitting in the blanket. And they were so hot in the same weather. So it's a lot of things are very relative. But what's not relative is the quality of poetry. And we really had amazing poets today and a wonderful feature and really great open mic. It was fantastic. And we're looking forward to the November reading, which will be really great also. We have Katrina Canyon, who will work from her new book. She will read the work and it's going to be very nice. But tonight, I just wanted to thank very much to all the poets that attended, and especially Frank, that despite the technical difficulties, he really managed to present the tarot cards so beautifully. So it touched us deeply, and it was a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Maya.
Everyone, it was really a pleasure. Thank you.
It was
Thank
a
you,
pleasure
Frank.
to everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for holding us all together, Maya.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. That was amazing.
Thank you, Kat the Bell. I loved yours, and I love your husband's flute.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.